Welcome to Keep It Real Studios, the only channel on YouTube that keeps it real. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video. As you can see from the title, today I'm going to be talking about the Boondocks Unaired pilot. And I have to say I've already reviewed it, and I have to say I really like it. Even the art style is very similar to what we got from the comics, the animation. I actually really find it quite interesting. Although I do like the Boondocks that we did get, but this Boondocks that I watched wasn't so bad. And honestly, I feel like if this aired, it would have still attracted a lot of viewers. Probably not as much views that it has now, or it did with the Boondocks that we did get, but I believe these Boondocks could have still had a good following. So now I'm just going to talk about some things that kind of stuck out to me while I was watching this pilot. For me, it was how different the characters were. Starting off with Huey. Huey is a complete savage in this one. You can see from the jump, he's already beefing with Riley over watching a Parker's ripoff, and he's already kind of salty. The next thing, he steps on his sneakers and he just shows Riley Wagwan from the start. I really kind of enjoyed that. I'm a big fan of that. In the original Boondocks that we do have, Huey is more of a stoic and more serious and more of a calm and calculated character. But this one he's just kind of more brash and aggressive, and I kind of like that too, because I feel like he's in a sense, it still kind of shows that he's still a kid. So I kind of like that a lot too. And he is voiced by a different actor in this one, so that's something that also stood out to me. Another thing that stood out to me in this pilot was Riley's just changing of attire. A lot of people might not think that is much, but that is something that I really appreciate when it comes to like cartoons, animes, or anything. I like when they're not constantly just wearing the same wardrobe over and over again. I like how they kind of switch up the attires a lot. And just throughout this whole episode, that's something that Riley did. A couple other things that stood out to me while I was watching this on-air pilot were a lot of the scenes in the pilot actually did make it into the final show. You know, the scene where Grandpa is doing his aerobics. We all know what kind of went down in that scene. Thank goodness they censored it in that one. Another thing was when Tom the Ball was talking to Jasmine, this line where he's kind of ranting how he used to get bullied. That didn't make it into the original Boondocks show. The scene where Huey steps on Riley's sneakers. That's a scene that we actually did make into the original show, but instead of it being Riley and Huey, it went to Grandpa and Stinkmeaner. So I found it quite interesting that they had all of these ideas and they then later on implemented into the new show, which is something I found very interesting. Some other things that I also noticed from this on-air pilot were how different Uncle Ruckus was. First of all, he's not as black as a school's chalkboard, and another thing is he's drawn a little bit differently. And he actually knows he's black, and he mentioned that he has children. But the thing is, he still has a hatred for black people, but he knows he's black. So I guess it's a bit different from the Uncle Ruckus that we know. And I don't know, I just found that really funny in this one too. Another thing that I found very different in the Boondocks Unaired pilot was how differently Sarah looks as Tom DeBois' wife. She's drawn very differently, and I'm glad they changed her because I believe she looks 10 times better in the original Boondocks that we got. Because I don't know, she's looking like a bootleg Total Spice character. I did not like her design in the unaired pilot. Another thing that stood out to me was Huey actually has a crush on Jasmine, and Grandpa and Riley were kind of clowning Huey for it, saying that he was scared. I found that scene very funny. And towards the end of the kind of on-air pilot, there's a scene where Huey and Riley are in detention, then Jasmine kind of knocks on the window and gives him a sandwich. And I believe that's actually a follow-up from when Jasmine was talking about how she's getting bullied, because in the scene where they're in detention, Jasmine mentions how she was trying to tell them that they didn't start the fight. Then Huey talks about no good deed goes unpunished. So I'm pretty sure there's a scene where Jasmine was getting bullied, then Huey stood up for her because he liked her. Then obviously Riley, just came in young, greasy and everything, just had to come in and fend for Huey, and they both ended up in detention. So I'm pretty sure that's what led them into the detention, just kind of figuring out how the characters are. That's what my theory is. But to be honest, I'm actually a really big fan of the Huey and Jasmine crush. I know that's not something that's really in the comic strip. Huey's just more respectful towards Jasmine in the comic strip, but it's not really a crush. In the original Boondocks, there's some moments where they kind of hinted on it, but not as much. But I do kind of like it. I do think it's a little bit cute that they kind of have a crush on each other. And that's something that I really like. One thing about the detention scene is that a lot of people might not know this, but that scene has actually been leaked a long time ago, and I've seen it actually a couple of times all over the internet, and that scene has actually been leaked where Jasmine, Huey, and Riley are kind of talking, and that's just something I kind of wanted to point out. But basically, that's kind of just all of the thoughts I kind of gathered from the Unaired pilots. It wasn't too long. It was about 6 minutes, but honestly, I did enjoy it, man. It's basically the first Boondocks content we've had in years, and I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I mess with it. I really like it, man. Honestly, if they wanted to start up a new Boondocks series just in that art style, in that form, I wouldn't mind at all. I find it really entertaining, very creative. I was laughing the whole time. I was still funny. The characters were a little bit different. The art style was different, but it's something I kind of vibed with, you know? And something I really liked. And how much shows can you say that On-Air Pirates actually live up to the actual show? You know, so that's something I really liked. I do believe if that Boondocks actually stayed the way it was, I do believe it would be popular. It definitely wouldn't get the amount of success the original Boondocks does have as of right now, but I do believe it would have still gotten a nice following. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you like this Boondocks art style? Would you like to see more of it? Are you glad they changed it? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to always keep it real.